corporate innovation is hard. It's very hard because you try to disrupt a machine. Normally, I mean, a corporate has been growing and is successful because it's very good in doing what it should, which is mostly a repetitive task. So in IKEA, we're very good in our supply chain work, very good in retailing, very good in product development. But there were set processes for that. And people were very good in what they were doing, and they did it a bit better every day, and therefore we sort of were successful. And innovating in that environment is sort of the total opposite. In the machine, you're sort of incentivized by doing exactly what you should. Efficiency, low cost, and so on and so on. And where innovation is new. So if you go into a machine and you put something new there, it will spit you out quicker than you came in. And that's what's happening with innovation in corporate environments. It's also a way of the reward systems, the leadership structures, the governance structures, all of that is set up for the machine and not for innovation. So in the beginning, when we built this up, we struggled a lot. It was the first 3 years were really, really hard to understand and find a way for us to be successful with our projects. And you can go two ways. Either you have your innovation groups or innovation organization close to the operations, which makes it easier to implement the outcome, but it limits the height of the innovation. It's more, as I see it, more incremental innovation, which is easier to innovate. Or you take it out and you create a separate space for the people that innovates, which increases the height of innovation. So you will have much more audacious goals, much more disruptive outcomes of what you do. It's a bit harder than to implement because it's a bigger disturbance into the operations. So we ended up in the second one because we needed disruptive innovation. We needed to innovate and build new businesses for IKEA, which could take them into the future. And I think when we found out this is the way we should go, that was success for us because we could build that culture. We could hire the crazy people and they could be sort of have a psychological safe space there. We could introduce new reward systems that were totally different than what you had in the operational part of the company. We introduced a different governance model. In a way, it meant like when you're running a project, you get a task and you should deliver on the task. You have your steering groups and you have all of this. You go there, you tell them what they want to hear because you want to pass by to the next step and deliver your project. For us, we only wanted great projects, the best. The process we had was part of that was for the project manager or innovation manager to close the projects as soon as possible. Because the longer we had mediocre projects, the more it costed. So the quicker we closed them, the better it was. Because then we could focus our efforts on the really important ones, which is super hard. Because people are sort of get in love with their projects and they want to keep it. But then you introduce sort of incentive systems for how you could close the projects. Very specific parameters. What is a great project? How does this look like in the end? If we don't meet it, please close it. Go to your governance forum and say, I want to close the projects. And you get a totally different discussion from the people sitting in the sort of committee or the forum and the project manager, which is so much more constructive and leads to outcomes that are so much better than if you apply sort of the normal project management style. So for me, then when we did that, then we could successfully innovate and get the projects out that we wanted instead of being limited within the corporate operational phase. I'm very proud of the clean energy service business that we built because it's now scaling. It's in 14 countries and more, so it's its own business. We did some great things in the circular space, but also in the food area with the vertical farming. We did also the meatball for IKEA is an iconic product. And we did some, together with IKEA Food, veggie balls and so on. But that's for the vegetarians already. So we set some sort of a goal. How do we get the meat eaters with us to eat sort of not meat, if I say like that? So we started a project about plant-based proteins and developed a recipe together with partners for a plant ball. So with the sort of goal, it has to be the same texture, it has to be the same taste, same color, everything should be the same. So when you go there, you love the IKEA meatballs, you could eat this and you didn't really feel a difference when you had it, which we did. Took a long time. I mean, it was a lot of things that happened, but in the end, we got the recipe right. And now you can buy the plant ball at IKEA. So both in the restaurant and in the Swedish food market, you take it home, you sort of eat it at home. It's sort of a combination of peas and apples and potatoes, so different protein sources than meat. So no red meat at all. It has a climate footprint that is only 4% of a normal meatball, and it's a much more healthy alternative for you. I think that's also a project I was really proud of, that we sort of managed to get through, and it's out there, it's selling, it's increasing in volume, and sort of every day that goes by. I think it's all about the focus you have and what type of goals and ambitions you have with your innovation and your company. So corporate innovation is a tool for the company to achieve what it wants. And to be able to understand what you want, you need to, again, look at yourself. What do you want to be in the future? Why do you exist? What sort of purpose do you have in society? How do your products serve your customers? And do you include sustainability parameters in the answers you have on those questions? Then I think corporate innovation can be a great tool to work with sustainability goals and improve your company's performance, which we did. So what I did was we started innovation from a sustainability point of view. The questions we asked, the ambitions we had were all about sustainability. Never sort of moving into a solution, only looking at an outcome. What future do we want to contribute to? What force in society do we want to be? How do we want our products to be perceived by our customers and society at large? Then you build in the sustainability dimension to it, and then you can start to look at innovating around the solutions. I think the most important thing is leadership. Creating a psychological safe place for creative people, not to be punished. I mean, we say that you should fail. It's good to fail. It's never good to fail. But we all fail. We all make mistakes. And the thing is, when you do it, will you get punished for it, or will you sort of feel bad about it, or will you see it as a learning opportunity? And if you create an environment where you see mistakes and failures as a learning opportunity to be able to take the next step in an innovation process towards a well-defined goal, then people will grow. They will dare to do mistakes. They will be much more productive and efficient in the way they work. I've seen people who sort of, what do you say, they're like a flower when they come into an environment like that, and there's no risk. Amazing things will happen. So I think leadership, decide what you want, and if you want to innovate, create that type of environment with the right type of leadership, set audacious goals, and then you let the crazy people lead you there.